Water is an inorganic, transparent, tasteless, odorless, and nearly colorless chemical substance, which is the main component of Earth's hydrosphere. The very nature of water provides that it is a shared resource, and as such, its management is a challenging issue to promote peaceful cooperation between neighboring communities and sustainable development. The American Water Works Foundation in 1996 pointed out the key basic principles of total water management globally. It stated that water is renewable but limited and should be managed on sustainable use basis. Water resources is consequently finite and future challenges are inevitable, and hence the call for efficient management of water. As a conceptual solution to the complex problems of water management, the concept of integrated water resources management has recently come to prominence. The paradigm shift in approach to the management of the nation's water resources from the traditional to the global best practices of integrated water resources management (IWRM) also requires that appropriate legal and institutional framework and policies are put in place to drive the process. Integrated water resources management approach seeks to promote the availability of sufficient water quantitatively and qualitatively, and in both temporal and spatial contexts for all users. Other underlying objectives of the integrated water resources management approach include social equity and enhancement of access to the resource by the different strata of the populace, as well as the protection and sustainability of the environment. A key component of the integrated water resources management is the institution of a regulatory regime to control the abstraction of and discharges into both surface water and groundwater, and to promote the efficient and sustainable use of the resource. The most generally acceptable mode of exercising regulatory oversight over water abstraction and water affecting activities is the water allocation and water licensing system. The Federal Executive Council, in accordance with global best practice and following the recommendation of the Committee on Federal Government Public Reform, approved the establishment of the Nigeria Integrated Water Resources Management Commission (NIWRMC) in May 2007. The Commission is essentially to assist the Honorable Minister responsible for water resources and, by extension, the people and governments of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to regulate and control the rights by all persons to develop and use water resources shared by more than one state. The bill for an act for the establishment of the Commission, though successfully scaled through necessary legislative processes at the 7th National Assembly, did not receive presidential assent before the expiration of the then Goodluck Jonathan administration in May 2015. The revised National Water Resources Bill, which is a conglomeration of all existing water laws, seeks to streamline and harmonize the responsibilities and functions of various water and related agencies, among other reforms, and is expected to provide necessary legal framework for the effective operations of the Commission. Is still awaiting necessary legislative processes by the 9th Assembly.
This revenue can be generated at a high level, and I am very optimistic that the water sector can generate a lot of revenue for government. If the National Water Resources Bill is passed by the National Assembly and will come into being, our bill also, the bill that establishes the Nigeria Integrated Water Resources Management Commission, is in place, we can enforce and monitor this as appropriate. Coming of the bill or the passage of the bill is going to be a very important thing for the Commission, because all these challenges can be overcome, and we will be able to generate the much revenue that will be needed from the sector.
The provisions of Section 9, 10 and 11 of the Water Resources Act empowers the Commission, as delegated by the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, and pursuant to the provision of Section 17 of the Act, to issue licenses for diversion, storage, pumping, or use on commercial scale of any water or construction, maintenance, operation, repair of any borehole or any hydraulic works in any of the federal water courses in Nigeria. As part of efforts to further deepen the water resources regulatory regime, the Federal Executive Council in 2016 approved the Water Use and Regulations, which was gazetted and became operational. In 2020, the Honorable Minister Engineer Suleiman Adamu approved the Water Use and Regulations 2020 as amended.
The federal government intends to ensure through provisions of the law that all water sources of the nation are through regulation protected, used, developed, conserved, managed and controlled in a sustainable manner for the benefit of all persons in accordance with its constitutional mandate. There is need to assist stakeholders in the sector and the general populace to fully appreciate the very useful provision of this policy framework. It is noteworthy that this policy framework provides for the creation of an enabling environment for public and private sector investments. It also provides for capacity building process to foster good governance whilst establishing a water use and license framework to ensure sustainable financing of water sector development through tariffs, including creation of an enabling climate with increased private sector participation in service delivery through public-private partnership management contracts.
The Commission came into being as a result of the reforms that have been taking place in the water sector. And these reforms dated back to 2013, 14, 15, 16 till date. The reforms started by the establishment or trying to establish institutions, commissions and agencies that will take responsibilities of probably some of the departments, like the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, which is an agency of the ministry that is in charge of hydrology and others, and which was a department, per se, in the Ministry of Water Resources.
The Commission has three key distinct roles: definition of standards, regulation of water resources development, and water resources planning and management. Functions. The Commission has the following functions, key among which are: implement regulatory policies on activities relating to the development of water resources in Nigeria, be responsible for economic and technical regulation of all aspects of water resources exploitation and provision, construction, operation, maintenance and tariffs of public and private water resources infrastructure. Ensure the safety and quality of water resources development and public water services by regulating standards for execution and performance. Issue water resources licenses in accordance with the provisions of the Act. Monitor and report to the Minister charges paid by consumers, the performance of licensees and other persons in meeting the standards developed under the Act. Liaise with relevant agencies to conduct studies and surveys for the purpose of establishing water resources balance, catchment management plans, and water efficiency strategies. Protect consumers from unfair practices of licensees and other persons in the supply of water resources services and facilities. As every other organ of government dedicated to delivering on its mandate, the Nigerian Integrated Water Resources Management Commission has the vision to be a world-class water resources regulatory agency in Nigeria, ensuring sustainable delivery of sufficient quantity and quality of water for all users. Similarly, the mission is to provide equitable, effective, and efficient management of Nigeria's water resources without compromising the environment.
Actually, regulation is about setting standards. Also, particularly in the water sector, setting standards and also trying to look at the development in the water sector itself in terms of exploitation and exploration, and also trying to look at the development planning in the water sector of this vast country. Now, this is like the mandate of the Commission. Our vision is to be a regulatory commission that is supposed to provide water for the teeming population of this country in a quantitative and qualitative manner without actually subduing the environment. Our mission is to also provide qualitative water for this country for the vast users in the different sectors of the economy.
Regulation of water. As a regulator in the sector, the Commission has continued to process applications for water rights licenses for prospective service providers.
Hello, young sector engineers, representing the water and water license, the sector for agriculture enterprise. The license to install and operate a power plant to generate electricity and independently for invested congratulations.
I have this whole right to take over the license if there are any violations. Thank you very much.
Water use regulation has been vetted by the Minister, Federal Ministry of Water Resources, and gazetted in February 2016 and amended in July 2020. The licensable activities include hydropower, irrigation, aquaculture, horticulture, tourism, dam development and water supply, commercial and industrial, abstraction of surface and groundwater, diversion, pumping, storage or use on a commercial scale of any water use, construction of borehole, construction and operation of hydraulic structures for rivers, dams, water intakes, barrages, groinage, bed and bank stabilization, dikes, boulders, wells, public and private irrigation and drainage systems, diversion, impoundment of water for mining and wastewater discharge into water courses, discharge of waste or water containing waste into water bodies, undertaking drainage and land reclamation, capital dredging, sand dredging, rock blasting and rock removal from rivers and bridges. Any work affecting the banks and beds of watercourses to coordinate the multiple water uses in a river basin. Highlights of the achievements made by the Commission to date. The Commission has huge potentials for revenue generation through the issuance of water licenses and water permits to developers, investors for various categories of water use affecting activities across the country. A total of 81 licenses have been issued involving not less than 275 million cubic volumetric water rights across the various catchment areas. Acquisition of 5 numbers acoustic Doppler current profiler ADCP for proficiency. The Commission launched the Water Use and License Regulation 2016, an official jacket for monitoring activities nationwide, published its Manual of Administrative Procedures and General Guidelines for Water Use License Application 2016. Developments of National Guidelines for Compliance, Monitoring and Enforcement of Water Use in Nigeria 2018. Launched the Commission's website for public awareness www.niwrmc.gov.ng. 2017 commenced the project for the development of Nigeria Water Footprint and Water Resources Regulations and Coordination in Catchment Offices. The development of National Water Source Protection Guidelines 2018. Integrated Water Resources Information System e-Library Project NIWRMIS 2018. Online Water License and Permit Application Portal 2018. Water Audit for Niger North Hydrological Basin 2010. Integrated Water Resources Management Strategies and Water Efficiency Plan for Niger Central Catchment 2011. Stakeholders Engagement Programs and Advocacy for Public Awareness visits to NNPC Kaduna, State Water Regulatory Services in Kaduna, Rivers and Lagos States, Lagos State Water Corporation, Ogun Ocean River Basin Development Authority, National Water Resources Institute Kaduna, Training and Retraining of Staff, Netherlands and Hungary Public Service, upgrading of Komadugu Yobe Catchment Management Plan (CMP) to cover the entire Lake Chad Basin. Inventory of water infrastructure projects in Nigeria. Water audit for Niger Central Hydrological Basin. Integrated water resources management strategies and water efficiency for Niger South Catchment Area. Study and design of integrated water resources management strategies for combating effects of climate change, drought and watershed management in the Niger Central Catchment Hydrological Area 2. National Integrated Water Resources Management Strategy and Water Efficiency Plan for Nigeria. Development of National Water Resources Classification System 2018 and Development of Catchment Management Plan for Western Littoral. The Strategic Action Plan 2020 to 2024 was presented to the Honorable Minister of Water Resources on 17th March 2020 in the Honorable Minister's Office. The Executive Director was accompanied by all the directors of the Commission. The Honorable Minister commended the Executive Director and his team for a good presentation.
Protection of water catchments in Nigeria, especially in those densely populated areas, is no longer an option but a requirement. Compromise of degraded water catchments mean that societies that depend on them have either limited access to a sustainable source of water or consume contaminated water. Agencies responsible for the provision of drinking water to such communities often resort to expensive water abstraction technologies or complex treatment processes to render water safe. But such treatment comes at great cost to societies and consumers of the water. In addition, water catchment protection can save money through lower costs for medication for waterborne diseases and less sickness in the society. The conventional approach to ensuring high quality water in public water supply systems is the construction and use of water treatment facilities at the point of abstraction. While this is generally effective, there is a capital and ongoing cost associated with such systems. Therefore, it is in the interest of the water utility and end user that the quality of water being come from the environment is the best possible.
Approval of Water Use and License Regulations 2020 as amended by the Honorable Minister. Finalization of Water Source Protection Policy Document, legal framework and validation was done in August 2021. Conduct compliance monitoring and enforcement visits to the underlisted licensees. GNAL Irrigated Sugarcane Estate and Factory, Gagarawa, Local Government Area, Jigawa State, Kano Hydro and Energy Development Company Limited, Chiga Hydroelectric Power Plant, Kano State Water Board on 10th August 2020, Chalawa Hydro and Energy Company Limited, Chalawa Hydroelectric Power Plant, Kano State on 10th August 2020, Manomi Support Services Limited, Demsa Local Government Area, Adamawa State, Pacific Energy Company Limited, Operator of Thermal Electricity Plant, Ajeban Del Pai, Odigbo Local Government Area, Ondo State, Nestle Nigerian PLC, Nestle Factory, Abaji, FCT.
In this country, we have thought of water actually as being God sent, and we use water the way we feel like. But actually, water has an economic value, and that is what is most important, that we need to take it as a very serious commodity, and that there is a saying that water is life. And this is actually true, but we need to look at the economic value of water as it is. As you are aware, there are a lot of companies in this country that are using water for their processes in terms of manufacturing. There are a lot of companies that are using water for bottling to sell to the public. And there are other companies also that are using water in terms of drilling or producing other products out of water. Like we have the breweries and many other companies that use bulk water. Most of these companies are actually mining water. And water as a common good to everyone in this country, they are supposed to pay a certain fee to the government in order to be able to develop the infrastructures government needs to develop in the sector and outside the sector.
I've noticed that there's been a very low level of compliance by users, commercial bulk users of water with the Act's Establishment Act, in terms of not refusing to apply for license and also refusing to pay for water charges. And this act of impunity is not restricted to just the private sector. Even government sector, the agencies and bodies with that the federal government has a stake in, like the LNG. The LNG, for instance, applied for license and has refused to renew the license, also pay for charges, water charges. The energy is in default for several years. And apart from LNG, multinationals like the IOC, the International Oil Companies, and other multinationals that use water in a bulk, in a commercial quantity, have refused to comply with the provisions of the Act, thereby depriving the federal government of much needed revenue and also acting in a manner that is contrary to the Act. Most of these agencies are, by virtue of this infraction, liable to committal to imprisonment of no more than 6 months or payment of fine or both.
One of the challenges we are facing is that most of the water users are not complying with our instruction to get their water license. So we are facing a lot of difficulties, which is one of the factors that is hindering our activities. So right now we have issued our Sabantua license and for ETA on the process. These are the actual tender we have issued from the instruction of the Commission.
Recommendations and next steps. The bill is a compendium of all existing laws in the water sector, thus should not be misunderstood. The need for sensitization on the importance of the bill. The passage of the bill will to a greater extent provide solutions to the rest of the challenges being faced. The Commission can generate substantially more revenue if adequately funded. The Nigeria Integrated Water Resources Management Commission is ready to take the water sector to greater heights and has been working tirelessly to ensure that its mandate is being carried out despite constraints. Nevertheless, the Commission will continue to push against all odds to ensure that the principles of integrated water resources management are implemented until sustainable development is achieved and maintained.